We have no idea what the depth is here because the transducer on Nutshell we think has come adrift, and the transducer on Peanut isn't working, so we don't know how deep it is. So we've decided to dry out again and try and stick the transducer back on the bottom of the hull because Magnus reckons that it's come loose and it's dragging. So we come to the little spot here with a nice dry out spot which is marked on the charts, but of course we don't know how deep it is at the moment, so we're just sort of hoping we don't hit the bottom before we dry out tomorrow. We're going to take Peanut and check it out because it's pretty well close to low tide now and see what it's going to be like tomorrow. So let's go. So what's going on? We've come over to this sandbank area.
It's a bit windy, so sorry about the wind. Yeah, we're just trying to work out where, because we've got some trees here, so we don't want to end up on top of a tree. So we're going to take some waypoints and then work out where to come up tomorrow.
So we can stick the transducer back on the bottom of the boat.
Yeah. They've done a bodgy, the whole boat's bodgy, but they've done, it's very bodgy. They've done a bodgy and just stuck a depth sound and transducer on the outside of the hull, which when we get up on the hard I'll change and put a wet tank inside the hull. But for the time being I'm just going to stick a flexor back on the side of the hull, but we need to get it up high and dry to do that. So I figure we're going to come here, nice high dry spot. There are just absolutely thousands of these bad boys. It's so cool, you can actually hear the noise they're making as they're running away. Ready?
Yeah, ready, go. Corral them, babe, corral them. Woo! How many you got?
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
Did he?
Yeah. They're like lemmings, they just walk straight off the edge. Watch out!
I love the way they think they're camouflaged, but they actually have a bit hanging out.
Got all our screens on today because there's a fair bit of debris laying around on this sandbar and we don't want to end up on top of a tree trunk. So yesterday, as you saw, we went and marked where all the tree trunks and bits of rubbish were and where the divots were and all that sort of stuff. And when we came in here, we've got about that much water under us at the moment. When we came in here, of course the tide's flowing the other way and it's windy, so wind on tide, and it was very hard to drop the anchor in the right spot. So I took a punt and we've ended up how far off our intended location? We are 39 feet, so 10 metres. So that's pretty good. So pretty good for the time being. The tide hasn't really swung around yet, so we will end up going a bit closer to the big tree. As we swing around, I'm just trying to find the tree. Anyway, so I've got us up here on the big screen. So this is where we came in. We sort of came in here and we had to push to get over the hump, and then we came in here, dropped the pick, hoping that we're going to pull back this way. The wind's coming from here. This was just my original zone area. The stick is there. You can see the stick. There's a hole there. There's a hole here where we walked yesterday.
but by the time we drift back, we should end up about there, which is pretty well exactly where we want to be on this sandbar. Again, highlights how magic this stuff is, how satellite imagery compared to. I'll switch to keep it on that, and I'll switch it over. So, if you're relying on solely on a chart, you'd be looking at that screen, which is still pretty accurate. If we zoom out, it's still pretty accurate. But when you look at satellite imagery, you can see so much more, and that's using ArcGIS. That's Google. A bit more contrast on it there. You can see all the ripples. We don't want to be on those ripples. And that's Bing. Not as good as the other two. So that's the best around here. So yeah, that's where we are right now. So now it's just a waiting game. Tide's changing in half an hour, and then we'll start going down. Hopefully it will end up nice and level and not on any sticks. It's a plan. We'll touch back with you once we're on the ground.
Well, we've tried 3 times to stay in one spot, but there's wind on tide and the anchor's dragging. I think looks like we're trying one more time. And if that fails, we'll just pull the pin. Because there's some nasty trees on this sandbank and we don't want to hit them or land on them. Mission aborted. He knocked us off the sandbank 3 times, so we decided to abort.
Find a bigger sandbank. Well, we're safely anchored up again, back to where we were last night. It was like with 3 goes, and the holes in the cheese were starting to line up, and we weren't comfortable. So, lesson learned is don't try and go on the dry or dry out somewhere where there's lots of trees around. Don't try and dry out somewhere that's a very narrow area, and don't try and do it when you've got wind on tide, especially when it's blowing 20 knots. So we gave it a good crack, but everything was just wrong. And like any skipper learns that if it isn't right, it isn't right. So we're back here. We've got no echo sound at all now. It's not even working when we're going slow, so I think it's just destroyed. So yeah, and while I was doing all that, I leant on the railing out there and that came off. I nearly went in the water. There's a rotten bit of timber out there that it was attached to, so it's time for a cup of tea. See you guys.
So we've got a temporary fix by the looks.
Yeah, there's no shortage of rotten timber on this boat. I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
Like this bit of ply, essentially that section needs to be replaced. Someone's bogged that up.
But that doesn't give it any strength.
No.
It just fills a hole.
So the whole boat's like this. A lot of work to do. So these 2 bolts pulled out, or self-tappers pulled out. All the ones at the bottom down here, they pulled out.
I don't know if you can see because I'm upside down.
They all pulled out. Oh, they're all missing.
They pulled out and fell out by the looks.
So
yeah, I saw Magnus nearly fall in. He just sort of disappeared.
We nearly lost our brand new boat hook that we've never used.
Which is funny because when we were in Panama, we did
yeah.
exactly the same thing, and then because Panama and Costa Rica have got powerboats and they don't have yachts, we couldn't buy one for months and months and months. In fact, we couldn't buy one at all. So we ended up using a gaff as a boat hook. On, doll. Where are we? What's happening? Whoa, that's a funny landscape, a bit like the moon.
That's where we are. We're up on the dry again to see the damage that has occurred to the port hull where the transducer was. I fear, I had a look in that section and there's water in it, so I fear that when the anchor chain ripped the transducer off from the bodgy installation that was done on the side of the hull, it's torn the mounting off and torn the screws off, which would have been screwed straight through the hull, and it's taken on water. We didn't notice we'd taken on water until I checked it today, because we've got 18 seal compartments in the boat, so if one fills with water we don't really notice. Now, this doesn't look very solid, so I may sink up to my ankles, I may sink up to my knees when I hop in there. There's crabs everywhere. Like, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, you just don't know here how deep the mud is.
Well, the boat, when you fold this down, usually it folds down straight, right?
Ah,
so the boat
must have
has sunk at least
a foot, maybe
that
two.
much.
All right, good luck, Dom. Oh, look at that! Oh, that looks a lot. Oh, how deep? Oh my God, no!
I'm just going to keep going.
I think you better come back up. You're gonna have to do it with a GoPro or something. No, you're just gonna end up stuck.
I would have gone straight up to my thighs then.
Yeah, I think you would. So all you have to do is just go and check the damage, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you know, we've got no transducer's gone.
Transducer's gone. I can tell that by the signal I'm getting.
So note to self, we need to try and go on dry land in sand rather than mud. But you knew it was mud, but we had to look and see if the transducer had disappeared.
Yep. So I had to look over the bow and I can see that it's gone.
Yeah.
We know we've got a hole in the hull. I knew this was going to be muddy, so I prepared this bucket
Yeah,
of
you did.
Because
it's impossible to get water now, because it's all the way over there, and you can't get there. Yeah.
Oh.
But at least now we know we've got to get a transducer.
Yeah.
We're going on the hard in a week or so.
So I'm going to make
it's on the list.
A box that goes inside.
Yeah, usual stuff.
Yeah.
And so this is really just a fact-finding drying out.
Yeah, we found
just to confirm what Magnus thought was the case.
We're not going to sink. So this is the one that's full of water. I've got a bilge pump down there, emptying it out. And I'll see if I can do a shot over the side to show you the damage. Down there, right under there, you can't, I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, there's a hole.
You look very happy.
Well, you know how we lost the transducer the other day, and Wendy and I thought, well, if we give one more attempt to come back here and see and plug the hole up, and at least we won't be sinking. And today the weather was fine, so we've come back and we're up high, not high and dry yet. And Wendy said yesterday, what's my alarm? Wendy said yesterday, I bet you we can find the transducer if we walk around. I bet it'll be lying around there somewhere. It'll just show, it'll just be there. So anyway, I just walked out here and looked over the bow. Come have a look, guys.
No way! What? It could have been under the boat. What are the chances? Well, don't forget where it is.
Oh,
that's crazy.
That's amazing.
Pretty happy with that. You just ordered one though?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay. It's not muddy here, so that's a lesson learned. Don't land yourself on mud because you can't get off the boat. So there's the transducer. There's the anchor. This is all a bit weird. And that's where it's come off. And that's the hole in the boat. You're just going to stick it back on?
Well,
Or
right.
I'm here.
We've got to join the cable. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strands in there, plus a shield. Join that, waterproof it. Then mix up or not mix up, but just get a heap of Sikaflex and stick it on. And where that hole is, it coincides with the hole that's in here. There. I think, yep. So we just stick one screw back in, that'll hold it in place while the Sikaflex goes off. But the quicker I can do this, quicker I can get it done, and because we've only got maybe 3-4 hours of no water.
Yeah.
Put it there to dry. Have a beer o'clock.
Cheers. How's it going?
Good.
And I've been putting these back
Wendy's
in.
been super busy.
Yeah, I've been sticking sticks in holes and screwing up screws.
It's a good temporary fix until we fill them full of full of thick and epoxy.
Yeah, just for now until we go on the hard.
So I've Sikaflexed it. It's got an anchor there sitting against it, holding it while the silicon's going off. But I figure I've got to fix one hole. I might as well put another hole in there and screw it in tight. That way it's not going to come off. What are you up to, Wen?
I'm just putting the, taking these out and putting sticks in and then putting them back in again.
What we're going to do once we're...
So that one needs more than one stick.
So we'll fill them full of thick and epoxy later on and put some dowels in and redo them properly, but this is just a quick stopgap.
Yeah. It's rotten.
Yeah. The tide's just turned, so we've taken, I don't know, a couple of hours to do this job. So I'll show you a bit closer. It looks rough, but I put 3 screws back in there and Sikaflexed the transducer on. Again, this is very temporary. It's the last place I would ever put a transducer. But anyway, and then I've Sikaflexed the transducer cable back on. The join there is covered with red heat shrink, dual wall heat shrink that's got glue in it. And then I've just reattached the cable running up, because it just runs up here across the bottom and through. Bit bodgy, but it's a very bodgy boat, as we're finding out, but we can make it good. So that's it, that's today's job. While I've been playing electronics tech, Wendy has gone around the whole front section here and reattached all these screws that were missing or loose or just hanging in there. Again, we've done a temporary job just to get us out of trouble. When we go up on the hard, we'll do all these properly, but as you can see here, the timber's a bit rotten. Timber's a bit rotten in there, so that's going to need some work. And there's a lot of places like that, but at least Wendy's done a fantastic job redoing all them. Pretty happy. This is where we are. Dinghy's just there. I'll just put out this little anchor here to keep the dinghy off the big boat. Yeah, so we're high and dry. It's not very often you can get yourself in a photo or video with a cardinal marker, but they've run them pretty close here. It's so nice to be able to just walk around on the beach like this on a sandbar without the fear of crocodiles coming up. And it's weird feeling, you know, because Wendy and I both agree that because we've been up in the crocodile country for so long, that
it's sort of ingrained, and you're always just looking around. Yeah, and you don't need to down here, there's no crocs, but you still do look around, and you have that feeling that you should always look behind you. So I wonder if that'll disappear over the next year or so before we get back into croc country. We'll see. But it does feel nice just to be able to walk around on the beaches. Out here I'm on a sandbar right out in the middle of nowhere with water all around. I can still walk around without any fear of getting eaten. Yeah. Welcome to Australia. It's a nice feeling. See you guys.
So I said